But we are going to start on our backs because I want to show you some deep core, some postural core stuff that is really helpful for meditation. So take a minute to get ready for like a little bit of movement. Isn't it the best when you get to start on your back? And so I just want to take a minute. You can have the knees bent. Hopefully, I'm sure audio looks like it's coming through okay. Everybody's good. Thank you, Jatila. Cool. And just take a moment to arrive. You can sort of let the knees fall together towards the midline. That'll offload any pressure on the sacrum. You can bring your hands over the navel, which is the area below your belly button. And just notice the movement of the navel as you breathe. Sometimes the diaphragm gets a little bit offline during our day. We can get sort of trapped in chest breathing. The movement of the diaphragm is more subtle than we usually realize. It's not a big exaggerated movement. Any kind of movement down there at the navel region indicates diaphragmatic breathing, which is great. Ideally, there's a little bit of a rise with your inhale, and the navel falls with your exhale. Always trying to breathe through the nose to inspire this more holistic and efficient breathing, as well as to filter, humidify the breath. And while you're here for a moment, just sort of notice the pace of your breathing without adjusting it, the depth of it. And now imagine almost like moving with your breath. It's just put your energy behind the breath so that you're not really changing it per se, but you're sort of flowing with it, and it will gently deepen your inhale and exhale, but it doesn't take over. It almost like colors in the experience. You can feel this wave of your navel, literally like the tide rising and falling. And let yourself experiment also with allowing the exhale to just sort of linger. Let the exhale just sort of linger at the bottom for an extra moment, and then let the inhale come to you. Try not to exaggerate this too much. You want it to feel sustainable and comfortable. Study after study shows that we tend to clip our exhales. They don't really get to finish. That the exhale wants to be a little longer than it normally is in our everyday life in order to be balanced. And so just letting your exhale be a second longer can actually make it more natural. You might notice as you allow the exhale to be just a little bit longer, you sort of drop into the present. You just sort of start to feel your body. You sort of drop into your body. You feel the floor. You're able to sort of release that residual tension that resides in the musculature. This is the shift from sympathetic to parasympathetic. We all had to work pretty hard to get to this moment. It probably didn't come easily for any of us. There were hoops to jump through today, scheduling things, meals to prepare somehow, and we get here and then we have to arrive. And the bottom of your exhale can let you do that. Go ahead and rock the head a little side to side and try to feel this as a massage for the cranial fascia, the connective tissue that wraps over the skull has a relationship with the neck, the back, the hamstrings, the calves, and the soles of our feet. This posterior chain is on all day, holding us up, erect, vertical, and it can get sort of stuck. And this cranial fascia here at the back of the head, just this little easy massage against the floor can start to release a tension that can be held along the whole back line. You might feel a gurgle in the stomach at some point, indicating a release of tension. We're going to take this concept and sort of bring it body wide. So the leg that's closer to the camera or the monitor for you, doesn't matter which one, we're going to do a very simple exercise. You can straighten that leg, and then the leg that's further from the monitor you can keep bent. The arm that's closer to the monitor you can bring up next to your ear. And this is going to allow you to simply roll towards the monitor onto your side and then back onto your back. And so try to sort of milk this roll so that you feel you're getting a lateral line massage, a massage along the rib cage. When you land back on your back, let that leg fall open just a little, let your head move with it so you feel you've got this rebounding quality. The side line of our body, the lateral line, is similar to the back line in that it gets sort of tight. It can get sort of stuck. We don't move laterally much. This inhibits our breath flow, causing us to move into our chest breathing. It keeps the ribs tight and doesn't let them expand. Next time you're on your side, just stay there for a moment and do a little extra rocking on your side. Excellent. And then just sort of pausing for a moment on your side. If this is comfortable, it's not, you can go back to your back, no problem. If you can just pause there for a second, try to let yourself relax. And then slowly you're going to roll onto your chest. And again, if this is not comfortable, you're welcome to go into Bhaktasana. On our chest, you can stack hands, forehead on top of hands. You probably know this as crocodile breathing. It's basically a way to provide a little bit of resistance to the diaphragm in order to awaken the diaphragm. And so as you breathe, as you inhale, the belly wants to expand into the floor. But of course, it can't because of the floor. So it has to work a little harder to expand. And this is awakening your diaphragm. Exhale, the navel will draw back towards the spine. And it's not an exaggerated thing. We always overdo stuff when we do it from the head. It's a natural sort of just subtle expansion. If you can feel the interaction of your navel and the floor, if you can just feel that happening, you're doing it, and just sort of stay with that feeling. Try to be there for the whole time, not just the big part of the inhale, but the whole feeling coming and going. And then lifting the head gently from the hands and gazing down at the floor, you're actually already in a very simple back bend. Trying to slightly tuck the chin and lengthen the back of your neck. Hands glide out to the side so that the hands are a little bit in front of and to the side of your shoulders. Your gaze is pretty much down, and feel like the back of your neck getting longer and the crown of your head reaching up towards where the wall and the ceiling meet, maybe. This is a baby bhujangasana, but what we're doing is really toning the musculature of this back line, specifically the rib cage, the area behind your chest. It tends to round forward most of our day, and just giving this simple little moment, and then a little bit of a tuck in your tail, a little bit of tone in the glutes can keep that lumbar from overarching. so that you really feel a majority of the work in the upper half of your back. Again, lengthening the back of the neck really helps to keep this work in the thoracic spine where we want it, and instead of the cervical spine, like our neck. You don't want your chin to just sort of arch up away from the floor. You want to keep that chin pretty neutral. And then from here, just the littlest glide left and right will inspire more of the sort of the width of your erector spinae, the width of your erector spinae muscles. The back musculature is quite wide, and so just saying hello to the edges of it. And it should feel warm. It should feel sustainable. It should feel like you're bringing blood flow. All right, and then we can rest our heads down. We're going to extend the arm that's further from the monitor. The hand that's closer to you will stay right under the shoulder. And the leg that's closer to the monitor is actually going to reach away from the monitor. It's going to reach away and try to pull you back, like it's pulling you back towards your back, but it doesn't quite win, and you fall back onto your chest. We're just going to do this a couple more times. You're reaching the leg back, and it's pulling, but it's not quite winning. And you're doing this to actually open up across the hip. Psoas muscle constantly in flexion from sitting. This is a great way to say hello and to give some love to your psoas. It's both engaging it and stretching it at the same time. That's the beauty of this moment. You can pause halfway and just sort of be in a productive moment there, what feels productive. And then let the leg pull you back over to your back. And you can just relax in shavasana for a couple of breaths. I bet you feel some blood flow. I bet you feel sort of brighter. Let yourself sink into that exhale. It's probably easy to access a slight smile. A little bit of rocking on the back of the head, if that feels good, or you can just relax completely in shavasana. And then we're going to take one slow exhale. You're going to inhale through the nose and exhale through pursed lips, like you're blowing through a small straw. Everybody's going to have a different lung capacity here. So just empty your lungs completely. And then do it one more time. Inhale through the nose. And when you're ready, exhale through pursed lips like you're blowing through a small straw, and just blow slowly until your lungs are completely empty. That particular method of breathing, called Shitali breath in yoga, which has been around for thousands of years, has had many documented studies within the last few decades to show that you can dramatically reduce stress, you can lower your heart rate, and shift your nervous system with that breathing style. We are going to roll away from the monitor now, and so you know the routine. So you're going to draw the leg that's closer to the monitor up, bending the knee. The arm that's further from your monitor, you'll bring up next to your ear, and then you're going to take your time pushing through the foot so you can roll onto your side and then a little bit back towards your back. And just play with this moment. Try to feel that elastic quality, that rebounding quality of the body. Let yourself sort of fall open. You're welcome to stay on your side for a couple extra breaths here. You can lengthen the legs like on top of each other or leave one leg bent, but just give that rib cage a little extra love. Rocking, feeling the there's this crisscrossing musculature on our ribs, the internal and external obliques, that's on top of them. And then there's crisscrossing musculature in between each rib, the internal and external intercostals. And so these muscles lie on top of each other and they get stuck, they get crystallized. And this simple thing you're doing right now helps them sort of unstick from each other and function and have better glide. That means you're going to walk better, you're going to breathe more efficiently, and that will reduce stress. From there, you can allow yourself to go onto the belly. You might have to reposition, depending on where you landed. A couple of crocodile breaths, saying hello to the floor with your navel. Sometimes I have to bring a little bit of tone to the glutes so that I don't overarch my back here, but that's up to each person. You may not have that particular issue. Similar to last time, we're just going to float the head up for a moment, still looking down. We're going to float the elbows out to the sides, hands just outside the shoulders. And we're in a very easy Bhujangasana, but with a lot of awareness. Length through the back of the neck. Sustainable, feels good. And then you can float the arms off the floor just an inch. And you're going to lift the right leg and gaze over to your left. And you sort of let yourself snake over to the left. And then you come back through the center, lift the left leg, and snake over to the look right. And just 2 or 3 more of those. Just again, saying hello to the entire musculature of our back. It's going to help us sit up and get out of that forward slouch that chairs put us in. And then finishing really easy, back hands together, head on hands. Sometimes it feels nice to just sort of rock side to side, like how if you're getting a massage, like the very first moments of a massage when they have the sheet over you and they just sort of roll you side to side, you can do that to yourself. And like last time, the hand that's further from the monitor, that hand will come under your shoulder. The hand that's closer, it'll extend up. And then the leg that's further from the monitor is going to reach over you to try to pull you back towards your back, but it doesn't quite win. And you keep sort of going back and forth, and you're milking this moment to feel and appreciate that space across the hip. Deep hip flexors like the psoas need to be toned while they stretch if you really want to get the work done. So feeling that tone that it takes to have the leg lifted and reaching, and simultaneously the stretch of the leg reaching. You can pause in a productive space there where it feels like you've got a little bit of a stretch and a little bit of tone happening. And then that leg will pull you onto your back. You're welcome to take a breath or two here, again, shavasana style. And if you'd like, you can do another one of those candlestick breaths, Shatali, breathing in through the nose and a slow straw-like exhale. And if you want to do one more of those breaths, you can actually imagine yourself sinking into the floor a centimeter while you breathe out slowly. drawing one foot up and then the other foot, taking a moment and just pressing easily into the foot and just peeling your spine off the floor and then peeling it back down. And one more time, just peeling the spine and laying it back down. We have one more thing to do on our backs, but I feel like we've been here for a little too long to do another whole sequence. So what I'm going to do is just have us turn towards the camera or towards the monitor, curl the legs in, and push yourself up to your side in this side-lying Bharadvajasana. The legs are really natural. They're easy. They're just sort of spread out. You can have the 90-90 thing going, or they can be tucked in. And we'll do a little shearing for the side body. So the way that you're leaning towards, that arm is going to lift up. The opposite hand can reach across to the knee. And you try to generate length and then a little bit of stretch. It's not as much stretch as you think. It's just very little. It's length more than stretch, but a little bit of stretch and a lot of length. And then you just sort of move inches. You sort of open your heart to look underneath your arm, and then you sort of look down and close the shoulder a little bit. You're just decrystallizing that side body. You can imagine like your side body has these matted layers, and you're just moving the layers laterally over each other, like the little windshield wiper on the rear lights of those old cars, or I think it was like the headlights of a Mercedes. Just that little bit of movement. And then we'll lower the hand down. We'll come through the middle, pausing by grabbing the shins and just elevating the feet a couple inches off the floor. And I'm using my shins to offload the weight of the legs. And try to focus, find sustainability here. Your neck, your shoulders, they're not tense. You're not gripping there. You feel like long in the neck. You feel low in the shoulders. And then you can bring a little bit more weight into the legs by simply gripping the shins a little bit less and a little bit less until potentially your hands turn up, your palms turn up. And you just pause for a moment, bringing that tone to the midsection while maintaining shoulders down, long neck, and spacious breathing. Great. And then you can let the legs rest. Turn away from the monitor in that same Bharadvajasana we were just in. You won't be able to see me, but you just did it. The arm lifts up the way that you're leaning. Opposite arm can reach to the knee or whichever knee is comfortable. Generate a lot of length, a little bit of stretch, and then just turn the rib cage a little bit left and right, flossing this interlacing musculature of the rib cage to allow ourselves to breathe better, to walk better, to sit better. This action releases something called hyaluronic acid, which is a incredibly hydrating substance within the body that's found in the connective tissue. Some people use it as moisturizer, but you can actually generate it from within through actions like shearing. All right, relaxing that arm down. We'll turn back the way we just were for a moment. And I do want to finish with this deep postural core work that I was going to get to at the beginning and I decided to wait on. And so to get there, you can hold your knees just like we were. And you can slowly lower yourself onto your back. And then the feet relax on the floor. And this is a very easy concept to physically to do, but people often overdo it. And so these are called deep core toe taps, and they specifically address your postural core musculature, the deepest aspect of your core that helps you stay upright for long periods of time, not superficial muscles like the abdominals, although they will get benefits. So from where you're at right now, imagine your feet are velcroed to the floor. Okay, so they're velcroed to the floor. And you're going to try to just alternate lifting the foot one foot at a time without actually breaking the Velcro. It's called unweighting your feet. And so you just slowly unweighting the foot. The Velcro is like still attached, one foot at a time. I like to sync it up with my breath and do it on the exhale so that you do it for a whole exhale through the nose. Then the inhale can be a rest moment. and then the exhale on the other side. Okay, so from there, we're going to keep that going, except the next time you peeling that foot away from the floor, it barely breaks the Velcro. It's like still sort of saying hello to the Velcro, but it leaves the floor. And then you allow it to go back to the Velcro with the inhale. So try that once on each foot. You want to feel the response in your midsection, not in your hip flexors. If you're feeling it in your hip flexors, try to relax and come from the middle of the body. Come from the abdominals to lift your legs. From there, you can revisit the first leg you were on, whichever that is. Inhale, and as you exhale, you barely break the Velcro, and then the foot starts to float forward, maybe 45 degrees with the knee, so it's still sort of pointing downwards. Inhale, lets the leg come down. And same thing with the other side. We're trying to really feel that Velcro at the beginning so that we're staying in the deep core and not reverting to the superficial. The foot will eventually come down with your inhale. And then the next time you exhale, Velcro goes through that zone and the foot might get up to parallel to the floor. And you can pause here and just take one extra breath with the foot parallel to the floor. Hopefully you felt the whole way there. You got to feel the whole path there. Next inhale, the foot can come down. Feel the whole pathway to that spot. Don't just get to the destination. Feel the pathway, feel the Velcro, feel the lifting of the leg, feel the midsection responding, not your hips. The foot might get up parallel to the floor. And then relaxing down, and you could stop there. Because our time is limited together, I want to show you one more level of progression. And so the next time your original foot exhale, you can slowly peel from Velcro, lift through to parallel to the floor. And you'd have one foot parallel to the floor. Inhale there. And as you exhale, the feet would exchange places. The other foot would go up, the first foot would come down, and you can sort of let that foot touch the floor. Take your breath here. And every time you exhale, you can exchange the feet. And then give yourself that breath in between. So the feet come maybe parallel to the floor. They don't really need to go much higher as they lift. And if you're really feeling the pathway, it should be hard from the minute the foot leaves the floor. And you don't have to, it should be hard the second your foot leaves the floor. It should be like you can feel the weight. Next time the foot comes down, just go ahead and roll over onto your side. You can slowly push your way up. That last movement is subtle, but I will say, for me, for example, I feel like I'm in pretty good shape and pretty strong, but at the minute my foot leaves the floor, if I'm doing it right, there's almost like a shake in my midsection that indicates that deeper aspect is working. If you're just lifting the leg up, you might be in your superficial muscles, and that's not a very hard movement to do. So I wouldn't feel the shake if I just lifted it up. So take it real slow from the floor until you start to feel it, maybe that shakiness for you too. Okay, so just to review what we just did together, we specifically did some things that you're going to read about in the primary essay for this week, and you will also be adding to. That was just one approach. But the idea is that we were preparing our bodies for meditation and our breath for meditation through a few simple, pathways. One, arriving on the mat, giving a moment for stillness, taking some time to balance out the breath, and then maybe deepening our exhale. We did that a couple of different ways. Then we took time for some rolling, just easy movement to get the body so you could feel your body again, right? We did some movement to help open up the chest. and also open up the hips. And so we finish there also with the deep core support to help you sort of feel more vertical and buoyant more easily. And so there's a million ways to do it. Those are just the pathways that we tend to emphasize here a lot in our teacher trainings that we enjoy. But next week we're going to share some of your favorite movements. And if you liked that sequence, this recording will be available so you could, put it into your routine. We're next moving into the Bodhicitta practice while we're sort of fresh and feeling good. Bodhicitta has been a focal point for us for years now. We're all very familiar with it. I'm going to just guide it a little bit, but of course it's a very personal and intuitive practice that you're going to be guiding individuals in very soon. So, see if your seat feels pretty good. Notice if your breath's moving easily. We did a lot of work around the ribs. Sometimes when something feels good, you don't feel it at all, which is an interesting phenomenon. It just means it's working. And so as we know, bodhicitta is the supreme preparation. We prepared the body and the breath, and now we prepare the heart and the mind. And so as you draw your focus in towards the heart, we begin with the quality of love. One of the most amazing aspects of love is that first it comes from inside of us, like the sun is just in there radiating all the time, and that it's boundless, truly boundless by definition. I like to take time for all these qualities to try to feel them in a small and very personal way. I feel like even a spark, there's always a spark at the beginning of any event. Try to be there for this initial spark when you're breathing, and feel that warmth generate and grow. A lot of the time, love is described as an experience of surrender and freedom in the text. And so it means it takes a little bit of surrender to even feel love. You sort of gotta break down those walls, those barriers inside of ourselves just to say hello to it. It's not automatic. And that the feeling we're seeking with love is a feeling of feeling free, feeling boundless, feeling open. And experiment with letting that love grow a little bit bigger than you're comfortable with. Let yourself grow it layer by layer. And as that love grows, it easily sort of transforms into the next quality of compassion. The scriptures tell us over and over again, as well as the lineage teachers, that compassion is not a reaching out, but it's an expanding out. It's an encompassing. And so when this love expands, it can encompass, the household, the people in our lives that we see, the relationships, the circumstances, our karmic circumstances. This compassion can encompass all of that. It doesn't mean it changes our life immediately. It just means that we're operating from this inward place. We're relating to these circumstances from the inside out. This is a moment where you can sort of see your life through this lens. You can feel it. The lineage teachings note over and over again that compassion is sort of a byproduct. It's something that grows as you grow. You don't have to reach out as much as you think. It's really just how much you're willing to go inside and to expand from there. Joy is my favorite quality because it's the most like playing. It's the experience we have when we're playing, when we're laughing. Joy is just the experience of living in an open way, but actively living and being open and surrendered. Sometimes life brings us joy, of course, but we can spark it in our heart. When I can't visualize joy very easily, sometimes I repeat to myself, today is going to be a great day. And then I just try to feel what I just said. And it helps shift the trajectory of my actions and my thoughts. Joy is like an attitude. It's a perspective that colors the experience. And we all have fun in different ways. There's something that you think is fun, and that can be the spark to help you find that place to breathe into. And finally, equanimity. Equanimity, of course, is referring to that space of surrender. Faith often teaches it as another way of explaining surrender, of letting go. A way that I relate to this is I think all of us, have important things that we have to get ready for, where we might do a lot of preparation. Maybe it's like mental preparation, or maybe it's physical preparation and warming up and rehearsing or whatever it might be. And then we know there's a moment right before the event where you just got to let it all go and just get completely present. You're not warming up anymore, you're not rehearsing, you're not forecasting, you're just residing in your being. It's the essence of potential energy, uninhibited by the mind. It's the Paramashiva aspect of reality. Shiva before even the faintest vibration of formation. It's perfect potential energy. A lake without a ripple. And from this space, let yourself just meditate on the heart or whatever your focal point may be. Just use that preparation for a few minutes now in your own way to do your practice. notice not only your body and your breath, but the preparation, the result of the preparation of your heart and your mind. Just notice the quality of your practice in this moment, the way in which you're able to focus your attention, the way that you're able to sit and breathe. This is the value of bodhicitta and of asana and pranayama. And this kind of preparation is well within our capacity to do, and our work for the next week is to start to think about how we want to introduce this to our students. How does it land for you?